Okay, today we're going to take a look at the Eufy 350 Indoor Cam. This is basically an indoor camera that you can use for a variety of different purposes and reasons depending on what it is that you're looking for. So let's unbox, let's check it out, let's see how it works. Let's take a look at this guy. Indoor camera. So we get 360-degree pan and tilt, wired indoor camera. Okay, got all of our major points. What's in the box: cam, cable, wall mount, positioning sticker, screw pack. Okay, nice little packaging here. So, like some sort of metal there. Cameras there. What else do we have? We have our quick start guide, positioning sticker. Oh, this must be a wall mount and screws, cable, just nice USB-C cable. Yes, I mean, it's really not much to it, right? I mean, we basically have the camera, a way to charge it up, and a way to attach it to the wall. So I assume this, you put this wherever you need it on the wall, and then put this in there and slide it in place. And now it's connected. And then this spins, and we can take it off. And this is where the charge goes. So, a couple of quick points right off the bat. What do we have here? We have a small movable camera, two dual cameras, high quality, part of the Eufy system, which means that you get the Eufy software, you get the app. It's actually a really good system. There are AI features that you can use in here, so we can differentiate between pets and humans, or between different peoples, and that kind of thing. There are no monthly costs. That's kind of a big deal. All you have to deal with is the upfront cost of purchasing the hardware, but then you don't have to think about any ongoing costs, which is kind of nice. It's easy to operate, it's easy to turn on, turn off, all of that. Let's look into this a little bit more, shall we? What you're really getting here, I mean, what you're really buying here is this, right? And what is this? This is a camera, or shall we say it's two cameras. It looks like a little Wally guy. So what we have here are one 4K camera, and this is a wide angle, and that's on the left, and then we have a 2K telephoto lens on the right. And this can achieve an 8x hybrid zoom. And because it is 4K, you can see really fine details, you can zoom in, it can recognize people from far away. That's why it's like so interesting to have the 4K, just because of the level of detail that you can observe. Now, one of my favorite points here, the fact that the camera can move around. It can track you. Now, I just recently became familiar with this with another Eufy camera. At first, I didn't realize that it was going to do this, and I was walking around, I was setting it up, and then it started following me. And I was a little freaked out at first, but this time I was a little bit more prepared. And it's kind of a useful feature. I mean, this is a 360. It can tilt all around when you first set it up, or when you move it. It kind of does this thing where it just moves around completely, and it sets up so it knows where it is, and that's what it is. It can tilt, it can move up, it can move down. Not to mention, it can catch on to something. You know, if somebody's coming into view, whether it's your dog or a person, and you can just like follow that person around and see where it is. So it's not gonna like lose view of somebody because they move out of, unless they move into a different room. But as long as it has, you know, 360 axis view, and as long as that person or that object is somewhere within that field of view, it's going to catch it. It's going to capture it. And the other thing that's kind of cool about these cameras is the night vision. Now, it's just been testing out the night vision. And even when you have a pitch black room, it captures really well. And it's not like there's a light that turns on either from here that would like alert the person. I mean, there's that little red light that is always kind of shining, or blue light depending on what's going on, but it's not like a bright light that comes on at night. It's just because the cameras are really good. And apparently, yeah, it has an f1.6 sensor, aperture sensor, and it has 8 adaptive infrared lights. So faces are seen clearly up to 32 feet or 10 meters away. Apparently this camera takes in 20% more available light than standard security cameras, which results in brighter, more vivid footage. And it is, I mean, the footage is really good, even in the pitch black. I think one of the major things that people are concerned about with a system like this is the security or the safety. And one of the things about this system is that it has a privacy mode that you can activate with one click. So for example, when you are home, your family's home, everybody's active, if you want to, you can activate this privacy mode. That way the camera wouldn't be on and filming you and your family as you're moving around in your house, going about doing whatever you're doing. But then you can schedule it so that you would have different times when the camera would become active and then other times when it would not. But you're in control of that. If I were to leave the house, for example, I would want to activate this to be on so that for a couple of different reasons. First of all, you know, to make sure that there are no intruders, or if something were to happen inside the house, you would have a view of what would happen. The other thing, of course, are pets. So if you want to keep an eye on your dog or your cat or whatever you have in your house when you're not home, this is kind of cool from that point of view, because you can just turn it on and watch, oh, Darwin is on the couch or he's on the floor. Obviously, my dog is kind of on the old side and he doesn't really get into trouble much. But when he was younger, if I had had a system like that, I would have like yelled at him to stop chewing this or that or get off the bed when I was not home. And that's the thing about something like this. It has this two-way communication. So it has a mic and it has a speaker. And you can talk through it. And whoever is in the room, so if you were talking to somebody else, let's say you were keeping an eye on your kid when you were not in the room with them and, I don't know, you wanted to tell them something, hey, dinner is ready. You could do that and they could respond to you. But the same thing, like with your dog, you can talk to it and they will hear it. Maybe this will surprise them and confuse them. But some dogs are really good with that. They will, you know, respond. I can hear you. That depends, of course, your situation. But just as an example, it has that kind of communication, which is kind of cool. Of course, another thing that you could use a system like this for is a baby monitor. So any parents who've been trying to be productive during the naps, you know, your baby's napping and you're trying to get something done, know how important it is to have a good camera setup. And this, of course, another reason why it's nice to have this good night vision setup. So if it's really dark in the room, you can still see what's going on in here. So, you know, if you want to go out in the shop, for example, and do a little bit of woodworking while your baby is sleeping, I've been there, then you can keep an eye on what's going on. So that is a really useful feature as well that I would have used. Something like this, obviously, this is useful from the security point of view, making sure that you are recording, first of all, if there were to be a situation, if there was any intruders, anything like that. But also just like it's useful from a practical day-to-day to keep an eye on your pet, keep an eye on your baby or whatever's going on, that kind of idea. And that's why it's nice that you can also move this around. Installing and connecting this is really not a big deal. You make sure you have the app installed on your phone and you know you want to set that up. But then connecting that to the camera is really easy. And then you just kind of go through the process of what they are suggesting. And then you can power this up and then you can disconnect it. You can, you know, move it to a different space and you can connect it again and it will pick back up again. I haven't had any issues with that. When you are testing out a system like this, obviously you're looking at the hardware itself, you're looking at the unit, the cameras, how well do the features work, and that is one big part of it. But the other big part is actually the software, like how easy is it to interact with, to connect to it and all of that. And the Eufy app works really well. I mean, we used it now for quite a while. We have multiple cameras connected to it. It is really easy to log on to. You get alerts, you can set your when you want alerts. And from that point of view, the fact that you're not just getting a camera, you're also getting this entire kind of system that goes along with it, and the AI features and the software and all of that. That is like a rather useful part of it. Obviously, you want to make sure that the cameras work well and that the tracking works well if that's what you're interested. But if something is really frustrating to use, then no matter how good the camera is, you're not going to want to use it. So the software really matters, how well it works. And then we kind of come around to the fact that there's no monthly costs with this software, which is kind of cool. So you can get all those features, you can get all that AI tracking, you can use all that stuff if you want to, but you don't have to pay for it monthly. You just have to, buy these upfront. Then of course you can also connect this to the home base. If you want a home base, it's Eufy's external hard drive system that you can buy separately. You don't need that, but if you want to store a lot of data, not run out of space, it's kind of a nice feature to have. One thing that really strikes me though is how much these systems have improved in the last couple of years. I mean, just think about it. Just think about how for not that much money, you can pick up a super high quality camera that can move and track and differentiate between pets and different people. And you can see all this in your phone. You can set the level of tracking. You can talk through your phone and communicate with the system, whoever's on the other side of it. They can respond. I mean, it's pretty wild that this is not like a high-level security system that costs like a ton of money. Anybody can, set this up. It's kind of amazing when you think about it. So I want to say thanks to Eufy for working with me. I've been really enjoying testing out a bunch of their products because the products are really great. They're rather impressive in the way they work, and so that's been kind of fun. So we're going a little bit further down and we got a light coming on. So if you're interested in either setting up a whole like Eufy system with different cameras and everything interacts with each other, or you just want like an indoor camera to keep an eye on your dog when you're not home, or whatever the situation is, I mean, this is worth looking into. There's a link in the description below that you can check out. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or anything like that in the comments below, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.